Welcome to another episode of Queen 3 and King. We're not going to rock to the beat this week because we know some of y'all couldn't handle it. We want to welcome you again with love, peace, and nobility as always. Today's topic, mental health mystique. Now, because we're talking about mental health, I decided to wear my Cowboys jacket because guess what? They put me in a bad mental space sometimes. So I figured it was apropos. All right, now I'll introduce you to my fellow host, my co-host, my queens, starting out of East Garland, Texas. Darling Nikki, Coco, Boney Maroney, Skinny Minnie, Coco, the grandma herself. Say hi to the people, Queen.
Good evening, everybody.
They said hi. And next, Meba, TT, the educator. What up, Queen?
What's up, y'all? I'm ready.
Y'all hellos is like this rain. Like y'all, I know it's a serious topic, but relax.
Okay,
all right, then finally.
Do me again.
Okay, here we go. She want to do over.
No.
And next, aka Meba, TT, the educator. What up, Queen?
What's up, y'all? That was fake. That was fake.
Real fake. I can tell.
And last but not least,
that's what we doing
the
tonight.
baby queen, Lily, Blake Mama. You all know Blake. That's Blake Mama. Say hi to the people, Queen.
Hey, like my cousin just put in the chat, we back at it again, baby.
We back at it again. A shout out real quick to Aunt Weta. She said, hey family. Big Illinois loyal supporter, was very funny on the forecast last night with his comments. Justin, again, appreciate the support, sir. Back at it again, as you well know. If you are listening on YouTube, on Facebook, we want you to click the like button, hit the subscribe, share, notify, tell somebody, call your mama, call your daddy, call your baby mama, your next door neighbor. Just tell somebody. Because somebody you listening to has suffered, you see that transition, has suffered from mental health.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not comfortable talking about it, but somebody has suffered, whether you know it or not. So tell somebody this is going to be a good show. Keep in mind, Queen 3 and King, we're going to do everything we do with some energy and a sense of humor. So although this is a serious topic, we will still have some unserious conversation, okay?
Yeah.
So one of the things I want to do, first of all, I want to go around the room, and I'm going to start with the more mature queen. She was born back in the 1900s, and we're going to ask her.
My God.
We're going to ask her to make an opening statement with regard to mental health mystique.
Basically, all I wanted to say was that I want to let you guys know that, yes, as my brother said, this is a very serious topic. It's a topic that I'm extremely passionate about, and I want everybody else to just really tune in and listen to what we have to say about it, because there is a huge stigma associated with mental health. And I'm not sure about other communities, but I know for sure in the African American community, it is a huge stigma associated with it. And we want to enlighten people and let people know that it's okay. I mean, to have a mental illness and to talk about it. We need to have the conversations. So we want to start that tonight with having conversations with you guys regarding mental illness. Absolutely. And let you know that it has nothing to do with race or ethnicity or of any kind.
Absolutely. Thank you. Mika, talk to her.
I just want to say, I know that, like Nikki said, there's a stigma associated, especially in our community, with going to counseling, going to therapy, and all that good stuff. But guys, if we invest in ourselves, that comes out in all areas of life. And I know as we get to know people, we get married, we get in relationships, we start friendships with people. I know we, especially in relationship, we worry about a person being broke, but we should worry about a person being broken and not healed.
She preaching this early too.
Y'all got the Cash App up for this preaching that I'm doing? So we just let's invest in each other and invest and make this like a normal topic. It's not taboo. It's not, even if you're Christian, you know, some Christians say, pray it out.
Yes,
God, you're right. Let's pray. But God also gave us therapists.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
right. That's right. Yeah, she said we worried about whether they broke instead of whether they broken or not, and that's strong. If you don't take nothing else away and you take that away, you won already. Baby Queen, talk to the people.
I echo what they said. It's such a huge stigma in our community, and we have to learn to normalize mental health. We have to learn to normalize the conversations that need to be had with it. That's one of the things where I think just growing up, you didn't hear about people going to therapists or going to go sit down and talk to somebody.
Right.
And I always say, sit me on somebody's couch. That's something that I want to do for me, because I know that as perfect as I am, I know that it's stuff that I can work on and things that I haven't worked through on a personal level. Right. So it's always really important to pour into your mental, and we just have to get better about that. Normalize it.
Right on. She said, she said, put me on somebody's couch. Remember I mentioned Blake earlier? That's how Blake and Kay here, because she was sitting on somebody's couch, and his name Brandon Viles. All right.
My God today.
All right. We got Mrs. Williams, Mwanga Williams. I don't know how to pronounce that, ma'am. I am so sorry, but we sure appreciate you. She says, hello, good people.
We
got Rucker Park in the building, as always. What's going on, Miss Rucker? We got Auntie Marita. Hey, family, love you guys. We got the CEO, Ben Sutter. Sup, y'all? Trying to be cool. I promise y'all, he is not that cool. He probably took him a long time thinking about how to put sup, y'all. Doc, Alicia, Miss Gates. And if you haven't checked out Facebook, make this your friend on Facebook, because she is coming with it in the month of May. I think this is her second profile picture upload. You got to check it. She's bringing it. She putting pressure on y'all.
That's my boo.
Bid again, said Mika. Nicole, he calling you by your whole government name. Don't he know you got warrants out? Can't be talking like that. The end of the Bench podcast with H Rap. Good evening, everyone. What's up? What's up? Then we got New York in the house. Good people. What's up? That's Jay Lewis, one of Justin Homeboys. We sure appreciate y'all.
Yes.
All right. So again, mental health mystique and mental health awareness is not just something that we're doing because it is a topic that needs to be discussed, or it's popular to us, or it's, resonates with us specifically. It is a topic that we're serious about, so much so that our oldest queen here, Nikki, she has actually started a foundation, and I'm going to give her a moment just to talk about that. Nikki, tell the people the name of your organization and what you want them to know.
Yes, I have a 501c3 nonprofit organization by the name of Keegan's Place, and we are currently providing some services, but not the full array of services that I'm working on. But I will definitely like for you guys to join us on Facebook at Keegan's, KEEGANS PL, which is for Keegan's Place, and then also on Instagram as well as Twitter. We're on all the social media outlets, and then you can also contact me directly. I do have a Facebook as well, and you can contact me on Facebook, or you can send me a message in Messenger, or you can even also call me if you have any concerns that you don't want to put out on social media, on the messenger or anything like that. Just want to be private between the two of us. You can contact me at 214-566-6892. Again, it's 214-566-6892. And I'm more than happy to help you guys with in any way that I possibly can, whether it's to refer you to a psychiatrist, whether it's to refer you to a therapist, whatever you guys need, or of any kind of need you may have, I will direct you in the right path. If it's something that I can't do myself directly, then I will reach out to some of my resources and see what they can do to help you.
Yeah, we can tell we are in Nicole's wheelhouse because she's got her 9 to 5 voice on. For you folks okay, last week Okay.
But one other thing too that I like to mention
Yes.
too, even if you guys don't have anybody in your family that or that that's close to you that suffers from a mental illness of any kind, if you would like to donate to Keegan's Place, you're more than welcome to. You can go on to the Keegan's PL on Facebook and make a donation. This month is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we are having a fundraiser with regards to that, and all those funds will be used to help those who may need help with their prescriptions for their mental illness, or to get transportation to their doctor's appointments, or whatever the case may be. So we want to make sure that we always have funds that are generating to be able to help those that are in need.
Yeah.
And I'd like to thank you guys in advance for that.
Yes, absolutely. Finances and access issues are one of the number one reasons that our community suffers in this area. It's not just about talking about it. Sometimes they notice a problem, but they can't do anything about it. So funds are needed. All right. Just to a couple of comments before we move on. Okay. So Mr. Williams says that's H-Rap's brother. Okay. Got you, Mr. Williams. And the next time I talk to him, he's going to teach me how to say your name. Ben, Trey, but you got jokes. All right, Grace Carmichael, thank you for tuning in. She says, hello all. Aunt Rita says, hey family. And then I put on Keegan's Place so you can know what that was. I did it from there as well. Rosetta Avon, all right, glad to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Hello, great topic. Thank you. Tell your friends. All right. We got the lovely Mrs. Sutter tuning in today.
Okay. Hey, Erica.
They love the show and excited about this topic. Awesome. I actually should have called Erica and brought her on because she's got some insight in this area. Had I thought about it, but we will do another show in this area again. I'm sure this will spark something that we need to continue to talk about. So trust me, Erica, I will get with you on this and a couple of other things. I got to have you on. Super impressed with her. She stood in on another podcast that I was watching, and she's fantastic. Probably has to do with the fact that she used to work for me back in the day, and she probably learned a lot under my tutelage, I'm thinking. All right, we got Mrs. Eversley here. Do you think family can do better as it relates to supporting the affected family member? As a LMSW, don't know what that stands for.
Take your time.
I've seen many families treat the family members a joke when they are suffering. That's what's your perspective on this? I think that's a great question, and that's where we're going to start. Yeah. Can we do better as family members when it comes to supporting the affected family members? Mm-hmm. Again, because Black people deal with things in humor a lot of times. People don't understand that is a coping mechanism. And sometimes the folks that's telling the most jokes is hurting the most. Okay, have you heard of the saying "tears of a clown"? Right. Yeah. So it's a coping mechanism. So I'm going to start with Lily and ask what your thoughts are on that. Can we do better supporting the affected family member? And do we treat it as a joke too often?
Yeah, we do treat it as a joke too often. I think we hear a lot, like you said, we'll joke about it and you'll hear comment like, oh, he crazy. Y'all, he ain't got it. He ain't got it all, or he don't have good sense. Mm-hmm. Well, it might be some reasons as to why he acts that way, or he or she, I'm just saying in general.
Right.
So I definitely think that we can do better as a community, as a family, about bringing those issues to the forefront, because it's not always a joking matter. And it's something that we have to, when we bring them in, maybe they'll feel comfortable opening up and really want to get the help. So we have to make sure they're comfortable at home first.
Right. Good answer. Mika, talk to him.
I'm with y'all. I think we joke about it because we don't know where to go with it. You know, when it's so, when we know somebody needs help, sometimes the best thing we can do is, well, he crazy, y'all, or she crazy, y'all, or whatever the case may be. So I think we joke because we don't know where to go, where to start. But if we stop joking,
fantastic point.
If we stop joking and we stop, and we actually have open ears and say, hey, I've been there myself, or I've been to counseling, or I've been to therapy, or, it was a time in my life where I should have, and it affected me this way. So if we start honest conversations and then look for resources together.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Nikki, how you answer that question?
Yes, I think that we do tend to joke about it. way too much, entirely too much. And I've been guilty of that in the past as well, like years and years ago, because as Alicia I think said earlier on, is that when we were growing up, we didn't hear people talk about things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if they did, they didn't talk about it to us around the kids, so to speak. But I do believe that family members definitely can step up and do better to help other family members who are dealing with mental health issues. And I speak from experience, and I'm just going to be transparent because that's how Keegan's Place came about. My own child was diagnosed with a mental illness.
Right on.
And sometimes you don't know, there's signs there, but we don't know all of the signs. And some of the signs are just simple things. So we got to really pay attention to our family members and to our friends, just to make sure that they're doing well. And if you don't hear from somebody for days on end, or they avoid your phone calls, or any other things like that, just isolating themselves, reach out to them and just give them a call, give them a text message. If they don't answer the phone, just text them. Just let them know, I'm thinking about you. I hope you're good. I love you. Have a blessed day. Those carry a lot of weight. So yes, we can definitely do a lot to help our loved ones and our friends deal with with any mental illnesses.
Right. And again, one of them said that, they were, from time to time, I think it was Lee said, girl, he crazy, he ain't got it all. I hear that all the time about myself. We're not talking about that when people are trying to come across it. I know I don't have it all, but that's intentional.
Right.
And I heard somebody say the other day too, they said, check on your successful friends, check on your happy friends, don't just check on folks who it seems like they may be an issue. Sometimes the folks who seem like they got it all together, just got it all together in front of you. All right. So we're going to go to a couple of comments, and then we have a special guest on this topic. Let's see. H-Rap. He says, the younger brother, he also sent me the pronunciation, and it's Wonga Williams.
And it's silent.
We appreciate that. Yeah, don't be throwing. Hey, when you talk about silent M's, man, warn people about that. Don't just spring that on us, man. Silent M's. All right, Erica's got a good point. She goes, can you put the link in the chat to donate and check out your organization? That's on Keegan's Place. So yes, we'll get that there. We'll try to get it live. Nikki, if you want to shoot me a text on that, I'll type it into the comments.
Okay.
And like I said, if it's not on live, we'll definitely have it on our social media channels and things of that nature.
Yes.
Craig and Danielle White said, hey, y'all.
Hey,
what's going on? Tell Fat Sam we said hi. Give him a treat or something. And Miss Eversley says that the LMSW stands for Licensed Master Social Worker.
Okay.
I mean, she did some schooling to get that.
Yeah, she did.
H-Rap, the conversation is needed. Thank you.
Yes, H-Rap.
She goes, great perspective, educate, share, learn, pay attention, resources. Thanks for answering the question. That was a great question. So thank you.
That was a great question. Way to start off that.
All right, now we're going to bring on a special guest here. And before I do, let me see if I can give you, I asked her to send me 2 or 3 sentences just to tell me a little bit about the people. And she sent one of those texts that you get from your girlfriend that's mad at you. All right, so her name, she is a U.S. Air Force member who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom.
Come on here.
And the chief executive officer of KeyFit. Pay attention to this because BS3 Radio is courting her now for this podcast. So that'll be coming. Knowledge, Empowerment, and You. That's what the key stands for, KEY, Knowledge, Empowerment, and You. And the U stands for Unity, which this KeyFit mentors groups on fitness, wellness, and suicide awareness to increase life productivity. She had earned her associate's degree in criminal justice, human resources, and earned her bachelor's degree in leadership from Trident International University. They make some good toothpaste too, Trident International University. She is a certified resiliency trainer, and that's big. She's a certified resiliency trainer with over 7+ years of experience with domestic violence training programs, youth empowerment organizations, sexual assault prevention, and mental health. And she got some more stuff on this bio, but we ain't got but an hour show. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. And this is Mrs. Kedra Houston.
Hey, cousin.
Hey,
God is good. Yes, he is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The next time I ask you to send a bio, I just mean 2 or 3. It's highlights. We don't need to know where you went to school, where you grew up, and how many times you brush your teeth a day. Just tell us stuff. Just real quick for the people.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
All right. So we brought you on. Of course, Mental Health Awareness Month is in May. Started back in 1949 by the Mental Health American Association. Tell the people what you want them to know regarding this topic.
So I think mental health is so big in the Black community. Like we really need to go out there and voice our opinions on what's going on. Certainly, Keegan's Place and different companies we have, Mental Heal, Key Fit, those things like that. And what we're starting to see is like a rise in the military, where African Americans starting to kill themselves more than normal. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it comes from things that we go through. We're taught to be strong, be tough. I see a lot of issues when I talk to young kids with domestic violence issues, or with sexual assault or mental health. A lot of issues that we have is the kids don't have no outlet at home. They have no support system. Right. Mm-hmm. So all they know and all they have is, hey, only thing I have left is to kill myself. Like I should not even be living. Mm. Also, they're scared to share their emotions because as young men, sometimes they're told, hey, don't cry. Like it's okay.
Wow.
So that's a big thing. Yeah. So I think us as parents, we have to, number one, make it a safe area for our children to talk about their emotions. And let it, hey, it's okay if your son, or your daughter cries or whatever, and just help them understand, just talk out their emotions, talk whatever they're going through. I think that's a big thing. Also, I'm gonna throw this out there. Every issue you have every mental issue you have, you cannot just say, hey, God's gonna deliver you from it. We know God is gonna deliver you.
That's good.
Yeah. You know God's gonna deliver you from it, but you also have to understand, like, it's okay to seek a therapist. It's okay to, talk to somebody else outside of, the church home. And that's something that we have to do in churches. We have to be honest in churches. Mm-hmm. That's right. So it's just a few of those things we have to do, make it an open environment for our children to be safe, to talk about it. And it's okay to be vulnerable. Good. It is okay. So those are a few things we have. Like I heard, Nikki talking about a lot of things. And it's good to have the aspect of a woman whose child has dealt with that, because a lot of women, their children are going through it. They don't understand the signs. They don't understand what it means to have a child that's has mental health issues. So what do we do? Oh, he crazy. I heard the comments, talking about they're crazy and those things like that. Or I see a lot of women, they say that that's an angry Black child, or it's an angry Black woman, because she's hurting from trauma. Right. So we don't take the time to sit down and understand, okay, why is she angry? Is something going on with her? Yeah. So that's the thing. Open dialogue is very, very important. So that's all I had to say. Y'all covered a lot of it.
Well, we sure appreciate you stopping by. And again, we will have another little forum on this in the later months. So look out for another reach out. Okay. So we appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. And again, Keep Fit, we finna come with this podcast pretty soon. So we need to talk about that so we can get you rolling before somebody else sign you from another network. Ben, get your money together, because we need to make this offer high. Don't pay us as much as you paying Queen 3 and King, but you got to pay us something. All right, we appreciate you.
I'm so proud of y'all for doing this. Thank you, cousin.
Love you too.
Love you.
Love you too, sweetie.
Bye.
All right, a couple of more comments. Miss Eversley, who gives us the comment, she wants to let us know you Arlene sister. We know who sister you is, and everybody don't need to know.
We don't know who she
is. Most folks don't even know who Arlene is, but just in case you don't, Arlene is somebody who thinks you're supposed to rewind DVDs before you take them back to Blockbuster. That's who Arlene is. All right, Ashanique Calhoun says, yes, check on your strong friends and family members. They carry the burdens of others in addition to their own. That aspect of it, that they carry the burdens of others in addition to their own, that's is a strong, solid point. Strong, solid point. I like her anyway because she laugh at all my stuff on Facebook. So
she's my Facebook friend too.
Told her you get on the nerve.
Rita Wilder probably laughing at my introduction to Kedra. She also said, well said, need speak it. Latanya K said hello. Latanya K. Next time, tell us what the K means, just in case we need to know. Miss Eversley says again, yes, safe zones are important.
Very important.
And Weta says the testimonies of others will help save someone else's life. Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah,
I promise you, that there's no need for all of us to have to go through the same thing in life. Sometimes we go through things for somebody else. You go through things to be able to help somebody else so they don't have to go through it, right? We make that same mistake as children. All of us have thought to ourselves at one point or another that I should have just listened to what mama said. She had already done it, and I wouldn't have had to go through this, but we think that way too late. And I tell people that all the time. I've been there. I done did that. You shouldn't have to, you don't have to pay that cost, whether it be financially, physically, mentally, whatever the case may be. Listen to somebody, especially our elders. And with Weta Wiley, she is our real elder. So you got to really, you got a lot to say, because she doesn't been around a long time.
Before you move on, Ted.
Justin laughed at that. Kedra, she said, y'all mess. Miss Sonia, to you. Hi, all at work listening. Thank you, Miss Sonia.
Thanks for the support.
Thank you so much. I think she's a supporter on some of our other podcasts as well. Kedra said, amen. She goes, oh, you tried it. And Bobby Mont. Speaking of mental health, I would like to give a shout out to me. See what I'm saying? All right.
I want to pray for Natalie's mental health, dealing with mom.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because he's a lot. Shout out to you, Bobby.
Yes.
Right. So I'm going to hit y'all with something on this mental health situation, right? We've talked about, and then I'm going to turn it over to y'all to ask some questions, right, to pose to the group. But I want to pose one first. I wasn't planning on this, but in my research, this came up and I was like, wow, this is so strong, right? So we talk about access. We talk about recognition, things of that nature. But how about this? Ain't no therapists that look like me out there. And they really tap into what's going on with me, so not only do we have a recognition problem, an access problem, et cetera, but we have a problem with the number of therapists that look like us. We are vastly underrepresented in the community. What do you think about that? We'll start with Mika.
Well, I'm reminded of one of my favorite TV shows that was talking about mental health. This Is Us. And one of the characters on there, Randall, he was dealing with a lot of childhood trauma from being adopted and all that good stuff. And he truly switched therapists because he said this lady cannot relate to me, and found him a Black therapist. And I said that to say some Black, because some Black men are saying, I'm not going to a therapist. What is she gonna tell me? She doesn't know my struggle. She doesn't know what I've been through. She doesn't know how life is for a Black man. So I think that is a huge thing. And I've talked about that with a few of my friends, because I want to go to therapy, but I want to be heard by somebody who has at least experienced some of the things I've experienced.
Right. And the people who may be listening to this now or later, and we talk about this on the forecast as well from time to time, because we cover some very sensitive topics in the movies that we review and whatnot. And we say it probably 3 or 4 times in last night's show. Some of our white brothers and sisters, or other races, when we talk about things that are going on in our community, it is not an indictment on you and your community. It is not an indictment necessarily on our personal relationships with you. These are things that we have that we need to address in our our Black communities and our African American communities. So when we talk about wanting a therapist that relates to us, that's just real. When we say that a white therapist doesn't relate to us as much, that's just the truth. It just is, and again, it's not an indictment on who those individuals are as professionals or as individuals. All right. Nikki, what do you think about that? My therapist does not look like me. Is that a factor?
I think it is a big factor, especially in our communities. And that's one of the reasons why when my son was diagnosed, I made the choice to make sure that I had somebody that he trusted. And in the very first therapist happened to be a Caucasian man. He couldn't relate to him. And he came to me and he said, Mama, I don't want you wasting your money because he's not helping me. I can't relate to him. And so I was referred to another therapist who is a male, who's African American, who also dealt with the same exact problems that my son had. And he had a brother who had mental, health problems as well. So he could relate because he had that throughout his family, like a generational things, because that can be, a thing. It could be generational.
Oh yeah.
But so he was able to relate to him on his level. And so he did better with that therapist versus the original therapist that he had. And they actually had a lot of things in common. So that helped a lot. And he was able to just open up and talk to him about how he felt versus keeping things bundled up.
Right. And thinking about Keegan specifically, and it makes me think, too often in our community, and Lily, I'm gonna get to you on this question too, about my therapist doesn't look like me, but too often in our community, when people, again, the stigma is so real. We think that because somebody is having some anxiety issues or depression issues or whatever, that it's a sign of weakness, and it is not. Okay. So when I think about my nephew, when I deal with Keegan, I don't deal with Keegan based on the fact that Keegan got some mental health issues he's got to go, to deal with, right? Keegan, and he'll tell you, Keegan is a big Philadelphia Eagles fan. That's probably number one, right? Yeah. But when we went to the Eagles and Cowboys game, it was the last year or the year before, I rode him all the way to the stadium. I rode him while we was at the stadium, and I rode him all the way home because the Cowboys beat him. I don't treat him no different than I treat, those folks who don't have identified, when I said that specifically, those folks who don't have identified mental issues or mental health issues, right? So when you have mental health issues, it's not everybody not, in a situation where, they need to be on 24/7 watch and 24 hour a day, 7 day a week suicide watch and stay and live on their own and all these other kind of things. It's not like that. So I don't want you to get it twisted in thinking that that's the way it is. We talking about all spectrums, all varieties of mental health issues. And when we talk about getting a therapist that you can relate to, it's not just in skin color. It could be in spiritual beliefs. When I went through therapy before, it was important to me. I need to get a Christian because I needed to have somebody who had the same basic foundations that I had. So whatever the case may be, get somebody who you can relate to. So Lily, my therapist don't look like me. Is that a problem?
Yeah, I do. I do believe that it is an issue. But one thing that I can say, that community used to be very, very small to where you didn't know Black therapists, Black doctors, that type of thing to go to talk through your issues with. And that community is growing. So we are seeing more and more people get involved in this area because it's needed, right? We know that. I even saw somebody on Facebook before. They said, I can't talk to somebody that's not in my same class. Right. And we know that being just, they think that I'm poor, you're rich. What are you going to tell me about my life, right? And I remember just hearing about Brandon's aunt, Keisha Witherspoon. I'm going to plug her in right here. She's a Black doctor, Christian belief. That's somebody that she goes hard behind mental illness. And I love that about her. And also spiritual. She prays with her clients. She's there with them and she can understand everything that they've been through. So I think it's very, very important to find somebody that you relate to.
All right, awesome. All right, we're going to go over a couple of comments. Then we're going to take a little break because we got some breaking news on the streets that we need to discuss. Because again, Queen, 3, and King, we're going to always cover serious topics. But what we're trying to get you to understand from our perspective is that life is like that. Life is a series of events that are up and down, right? You got peaks and valleys. Some things are serious, some things are not so serious. And so energy is important. Right. So the energy that you carry, the things that you touch on, the things that you make you laugh, or some of it is mindless stuff. Right. Yeah. But having some mindless activity sometimes is important to maintaining your sanity. So we intentionally are going to go get and see these streets are talking. We're going to figure out what they're talking about. But we'll get that as soon as we get to some of these comments. Justin Carey said, and go Weeda Wiley. And Weeda said, I went to hell and back. Now I know why God chose little old me. So that's
right.
Based on who you go through it for somebody else sometimes.
Right.
And Erica said, sometimes it's okay not to be okay. You can we can take offering right there and just leave it like that. If you don't walk away with anything else in this show, it is sometimes it's okay not to be okay. It's important to be able to communicate without someone trying to fix you. Being you listening to this, sometimes she just want to talk, man, is what she's trying to say.
She don't need a response, Ben.
Say you leave Ben alone. That's for me. I get on Ben, not you. Sometimes we need our loved ones TT. Sometimes we need our loved ones to be present, not on mission. Right. Safe space is important, and that's a good point. She goes, sometimes we need our loved ones to be present, not on mission.
Oh, that's good.
And before, when I had close friends and stuff like that, and I knew they were about to deal with a heavy topic, whether it be the loss of a loved one or loss of a job, I really didn't know what to say. And because I have a relationship, spiritual, right, with Christ, I got overwhelmingly one day that says, you don't have to say nothing, just be there.
Yeah.
And it took that for me to learn that, because I was struggling with, what am I going to say? What do you say to somebody who lost their mama? Or what do you say to somebody who lost their husband or what do you say? I had no idea, and I got overwhelmingly. Sometimes you just need to be there, be a shoulder and be an ear. And some of us got bigger shoulders and bigger ears than the rest of us.
Can I say something on two things I got from that?
Sure.
As sometimes, especially over this last year, people have gone through COVID, people have had COVID, people have lost people that they didn't expect to lose. And I'm learning, especially if a friend calls me and, I hear distress in their voice, I'm learning to listen, to understand, not to respond. Because as they're talking, you say, okay, how can I fix this? They don't want to be fixed at that moment. They just want to be heard. And counseling is not just for unhealthy people. Counseling is for healthy people as well.
Oh, yeah.
So.
All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. All right. So a couple of more comments. Hey, that was a great comment, Erica. Okay. So Lakeisha says, Men to Heal is a good book too. Okay. Men to Heal. Good book. Good book recommendation. Sister Trailer. Hey, family. How y'all doing? I just want a tiny flash.
Hey, Amy.
Lakeisha says, yes, relatable therapist. She goes, not understanding the struggle of us.
Yeah.
That's good. Kia, this is my oldest grandson's mom. She goes, I definitely had to find a therapist that could relate to my son, a Black male. Absolutely.
Yeah.
As my oldest grandson, he put these things on you if things ain't right. These kids are cool. Yeah. And she goes, he loves it already. That's a good thing.
That's good.
Good thing. Shannon Thomas, a great topic, guys. Thank you, Shannon. You can check out her show, The Tea. So follow her on Facebook. She's got some great content. She's funny and she likes me. So that's a great thing. She had me on the show. So if you don't do anything, go back and check that previous episode where we talked about draws and brawls. And she's cracking that right now, I promise you.
I remember that.
I like that one.
Brian Williams says, thank good parenting as well, because he had no problem telling you what was on his mind. That is a fantastic topic, right?
Nice.
When he mentioned that comment, that's another thing too, is that, see, you can't wait till mental illness rears its ugly head, right? So you gotta create and foster an environment of communication with your kids. So when something come up, that's what it is. Not only foster an environment of communication with your kids, with your family members and your friends and whatnot, an environment of communication and safe communication.
Yeah.
Good point, H-Rap. Ms. Edwards says breakthroughs can happen when the therapist can relate to the person. Gender, race is important. Awesome. That's a professional saying that. Tracy, Caraway, our cousin, powerful discussion. We'll have to catch up on this podcast subject later. Okay. Let's see who else. A lot of comments. Okay, Paul Caraway. He says, "Hey, family,
what up, Paul?
When we just have a straight comedy show, we're gonna have to bring him on. I promise you, he's gonna break the internet." Tracy Carraway says, indeed. Justin Carraway says, yes, sir. I got him on Facebook and over the phone talking about that Eagles situation.
Yeah.
Brian Williams says, agreed. H-Rap. Sister Trailer says, yes. Sister Eversley says, yes. Spiritual beliefs also. All right. I think Brandy's just tagging somebody so they can jump on. Weta says, it takes a strong person to share with others if they suffer with mental illness. That is 100% correct. 100% correct. Mental illness has been looked at as a weakness, but to talk about it and to bring it out is a strength all day long.
It is a strength. Yeah.
Kedra says, so true. Shanna Thomas says, is it me or has black man with mental issue come the jacket law enforcement is now using to shoot to kill? 100% right.
Oh, yeah.
As I was preparing for this show, that is an aspect that I thought about for sure. That is another reason why discussing mental illness and making that a comfortable, common topic in our community is so important because of these run-ins with law enforcement. So fantastic point. Justin Carey said, I listened to Dr. Umar, I can't pronounce that last name, for his message about young black boys.
Yes,
Crab says yes. Mildred says, come on now.
Hey, Mildred.
She also said, watching with you. You watching with me? I ain't watching nothing. I'm doing a show right now.
God dog it.
Lakeisha said, surviving suicide attempt has left me to see things so different. We need more empathy as well. 100%.
Wow.
That's good, Keisha.
Tracy said, good point, Mika. Linda Traylor said, cry with me, not for me. Whew, strong.
Woo, I love that.
That's good.
All right. Oh, this is her slapping me right there. Violence ain't the answer. We just said single women don't like to share about their mental illness because most people think it's because they're not married. I was crying one day and one of the ladies at church said, sweetie, God is going to send you a husband. She says, if you don't know how to counsel someone with depression, be quiet and just listen.
Yeah.
100% right.
Yep, that's right.
She talking about talking about watching with other family members. Okay, cool. Gotcha. Tell Uncle Darryl we said hello. And it is
wet like water.
Wet like water. Splash. All right. So now it is time for The Streets Are Talking. This is a brand new segment that we will introduce this week, and we will cover every week, regardless of our topic of discussion for that particular week. And now I turn it over into the hands of our host, Blake Mama Lily.
What up, y'all? So the streets are talking, and when I tell you this tea is piping hot, honey, grab your cup because we gotta talk. So just like Nikki said last week when we were discussing our hot topics, we were kind of thinking, you never know when something's gonna happen, right? It can happen right before the show. It can happen hours before the show. Well, let's just talk. Miss Portia Williams has set the internet on fire. And if you do not know Portia Williams, she is one of the stars of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Portia has a daughter. She's been on the show. You know, she's been under a lot of heat for this last season because they had a little situation with a stripper on the show. And everybody wanted to say, girl, you slept with that man. And Portia don't want to admit it.
She did.
I think she did. Because last night it was kind of, Sunday night it was kind of telling on the reunion. She kind of led you to believe that that's what it was. But let's arrive here. So Portia brought this young lady by the name of Fallon onto the show. So she introduced Fallon to the show this season. Fallon is married to an older gentleman. I think he's like 65. She's in her 30s, something like that. So that was one of the things that one of the ladies talked about, her having just wanted to be set up, right? And if we know anything about Portia, her baby's father is well off as well. So Portia enjoys the finer things in life. Well, it was announced today that Portia, after a month of dealing with this woman's husband that she introduced to the show, so they're going through a divorce, Portia swooped on in there. And now they are dealing with each other. And after a month of dating, they are engaged.
Come on, Jesus.
Portia's response to the allegations are, Fallon was never my friend. So everybody like, girl, we just saw the episode where you introduced her to the rest of the group.
Yes.
You were breaking bread at her table. So this is foul on so many levels. My question is to you guys: if your friend, associate, acquaintance, friend of a friend was dealing with your ex spouse, how would that affect your relationship with that person? Are you writing them off completely? Are you still trying to communicate with them? Are you going to take the back seat? Because a part of me is still feeling like, is this even a real situation? Like, this can't be real.
Well,
Who does that?
I take the H-rap approach on this one because I really don't care nothing about this. But when you got down to the question itself, then I have a very strong answer. And it simply depends on the situation, right? How did my friend / associate handle that situation, right? Because guess what? Him and my ex may have been a great match, right? They may be soulmates at the end of the day. It's apparent we weren't, right? It's apparent we weren't. So if he handled it properly, right, which is had a conversation with me, saw how I felt about it, et cetera, then I can see where that's possible and that's plausible, right, to everybody being okay. But chances are in those situations, they handle messy, because there's a stigma attached that it's not allowable. It's not copacetic. So, chances are it's going to be messy.
Oh, it's super messy. One, because they separated, I guess, at the beginning of the year. She was just with this girl at the end of last year. So you in the club with her kikiing, y'all taking pictures together. So she really think that this is her home girl, and she actually released a statement today. She said that she just is thankful for the support. This is the ex-wife, and that she is just focused on finalizing her divorce and healing. So I think she's really hurt behind this situation because you invite somebody in thinking that that's your friend. Meanwhile, she looking at your whole setup like, okay, girl, I see you, because she's been peeping the scene. Like, this just happened.
Right.
And a lot of people even threw this in. That's why a lot of women don't have girlfriends. Or they don't bring a lot of people around their men.
Right. This is just a joke, what I'm about to say. There's enough of me to go around, ladies.
Oh my God.
Sometimes it gets so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, careful who you bring around your man and in your house.
Period. Not just around your man, around your circle, your space.
Period. Energy.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes on these reality shows, we're so quick to call these girls our friends, and y'all just met last month. That's not your friend.
Right.
That's a castmate.
Yeah.
So this is your castmate that you are comfortable enough, and you bring it around your house. And Portia is saying by any means necessary. She Googled this man after she left that house. I know she did. He is worth $40 million. She said, and if she probably seen a little something, she's, I'm gonna slide on in there when that's done. Portia didn't care that in her mind, and these are two different people. In Portia's mind, this her castmate. Right. In Fallon's mind, the ex-wife, this her homegirl, this her friend.
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful with that kind of stuff.
That's true.
Yeah. And let me add this piece in. TMZ actually said that they've asked sources around Portia Portia and the sources around her said this was never her friend. Like, this was Bravo's whole setup. Like, you bring her in, you act like you cool with her. So I'm like, if that's the case, that kind of changes the narrative of the whole situation. If I really didn't deal with this girl and we maybe cross paths, but I'm like, it just looks really bad on Portia because it looks horrible. It's the messiness of it all.
Nikki, you got anything on this topic, or you don't care like I don't?
Like I told Alicia earlier today, she's nasty. Okay, and she broke the girl code.
Yes.
Men have codes, girls have codes, and I'm telling you, if that's somebody, if somebody and if I'm friends with somebody and they come and try to scoop up Mr. Briscoe,
You putting in pause?
Huh?
You
putting in pause on them?
It's
on site.
But I'm just saying, don't be pretending to be somebody's friend, because true friends, in my opinion, they wouldn't do anything like that. You wouldn't go behind, and they're not even divorced yet.
No,
it's not even finalized.
And they're
it's
just
tacky. It's tacky.
And
I like Portia.
Yeah, but in 1 month, this man done asked you to marry him, that you check off all the boxes.
Yeah. And he said, and then some.
Yes, and then
he checks off all my boxes.
And then you taking pictures with him and your baby daddy.
Yeah, in the middle.
One happy family.
Something ain't right. Something ain't right.
Yeah, let me just say this for some of our younger audience. People who were born back in the 1900s, that's the first thing they're going to say when they don't agree with something. She nasty, right? That may not have nothing to do with it, but that's how they say it. Because she done heard her mama say that all the time. She nasty. She just nasty. All right, back to some of these comments. So Emil just said, I'm proud of you guys. Lakeisha Shante said, understand the difference between mental health and mental illness as well. Right. That is a great point. My name said, good evening. My name, what's your name?
Hey, my name.
Say my name, say my name. D, great. Good evening, sir. How are you? BS3 Radio said, I'm still here, but my question is Doc wearing a turtleneck inside?
I just noticed that.
I tell you what. Hey, homeboy. Okay, all right, Ben. And by the way, we were outside today, and it was a little nippy. So, and it's not a turtleneck, it's a mock turtleneck. So, but I know you're from California, you wouldn't know that. Emil just said, talking about watching with other family members. Okay, we got you. We'll do what? Lakeisha said church announcements when I turned it over into the hands of Alicia. Let's see. This is about to be fun.
Yeah, so what is the audience doing? What are they thinking?
Let's see some of them juicy comments.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to. There's a lot of comments. I really let's see. Lakia had something to say. Portia out here securing the bag like Social Security.
Yes, she's securing the bag.
Yes, it's all about the bag.
Peter said, I need a 65-year-old. Send them, Lord. Shayla said, ain't no relationship.
Period.
We just said to purge her. Wow. Julie and Chopper said loyalty over love.
Yeah, you cut them off. That's it.
And Sister Eversley said, she goes, I wrote them off. It happened to me.
Ooh, sheesh.
Yeah. Brandon said, let's not forget she made a post on Instagram rubbing her belly. So I think she's with child as well. Whoa.
That is the rumor too behind that.
Really?
Yeah. That means
so maybe she is nasty.
Maybe she is nasty.
Without a doubt, she nasty.
So Akia says Portia been sleeping with that man. She ain't just swoop in.
That's right.
If any of my friends talk to anyone I've dated or slept with, you'll never hear from me again. Period. She forgot the T on that period.
Period.
Akia said, right, I saw that. Akia says, I felt this is a setup for her homecoming series on her life. She's creating a buzz leading up to her new show that's airing.
Oh, she definitely trying to get a show. Yeah. That's for sure.
Brandon Love, that's so nasty. Shaking my head. End of the bench said, bro, ladies don't do things. Us, none of them will agree. Don't do things. Us, none of them. Okay. And then he wants to let you know he's just kidding. Don't come for him. Rita said, black females will not remain friends for what? If I can't trust you, I don't want you to be my friend. Right. Tracy just thinks it's funny. Lakeisha said, gross take, talking about explaining me to go around. Erica says it would hurt, but I would wish them well. See how responsible she is. I would be grateful to know that she was never my friend. Moving on, remember the grass is not always green on the other side.
Right.
Correct.
God's still working on me.
Yeah, Marita said that's why I don't tell your so-called friends your business. Her husband's name is Ben too, so she don't tell nobody how great he is. Marita said, right, auntie is what Lakeisha says. Okay, let's see what Paul has to say. When it's over, it's over. Who cares who the ex dates?
It ain't over yet.
I wish I could get him to say that live.
Oh my gosh.
Brandy says Akia Britton's right. Genevieve says clarification. My situation, a very friend dated a guy behind my back. I know better now. Laughter. She goes, I'm not a fighter, but that day I was. Wow. Mildred says she's hard up.
Yeah.
Lena says, I always had more men friends than women for that reason. Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
We know.
Okay, men.
We're not gonna tell them your nickname.
Yeah, I am Teaser and Pleaser. I don't know which one she is.
I don't know if she Teaser, please. No, she
Pleaser.
Oh yeah, she Pleaser.
A-Trap said I could have bet all that money in my bank account that Nicole was gonna be on fire. I could see it on her face. She said, same auntie, same. Nope, it doesn't change. I don't care if I'm just active friends with a woman on Facebook and her and her man break up. Better not slide in my DM. Nope. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with Nicole. She is nasty and broke the girl code.
That's right.
Says 1900. Genevieve says right, straight up nasty.
Straight up.
A-Trap just says LOL. And then some of these comments I'm getting in advance. All these ladies on these shows are opportunists.
Yeah. Yes,
they are.
Yes. You watching ESPN, you don't know. Yes, get on his attire. He always trying to talk about my wardrobe. People wear turtlenecks to hide hickeys. What is a hickey? What is a hickey? Don't nobody know what that is. Grass may seem greener, but you can get green grass from some bullish.
That's right.
All right, and Darren said, what up, family? Wet like water.
Hey, Uncle Darren.
Oh my God.
And Paul with the most, Paul has just made the most insightful comment of the entire show. Nasty can be good. You are 100% right, sir. Thank you for adding some meaningful content to this show. Okay, Mika, I'm going to give it to you. You had one question about mental health that you could pose to the group. And we'll make that our last question, get some comments on that, and then we'll wrap this one up.
Oh, well, you kind of touched on mine earlier.
Okay.
Just stating what can we do as a family it was Arlene's sister that said, what can we do as a family when it comes to mental health awareness? Mm-hmm. And, just taking time with the people that we know, because mental health, we always talk about, like the, extreme mental health, but people with anxiety and depression and all that, they suffer from that. That can cause real stress as well. So how do we handle that as a family? And we kind of addressed that at the beginning of the show.
Okay. So let's continue to feed off that. What are some practical ways you can get that done? So for me, I kind of tie these difficult conversations that you have with the family sometimes into life insurance, right? Because that's something that we don't talk about enough with our families or spouses or whatever the case may be, right? So do what we did whenever it came time for us to talk about life insurance in our family. We went to lunch and we talked about it, right? And said, hey, we got to talk about this. It's not a great topic, but we got to figure something out, make sure we're covered in that end, right? So why not do that? Why not just simply schedule a conversation and say, hey, nothing's wrong, but I just wanted to talk. I wanted to open up the air to make sure everybody's all right. I hadn't heard nothing. I don't see nothing. I just want to establish a ground for communication. Make sure everybody's okay now, and then make sure if anything ever takes place, make sure y'all know you can come to us. It's not going to be a laughing matter. We're going to take it serious, et cetera, et cetera. So to me, that's a practical application. Do any of y'all have any other practical applications?
No, I think that's a very good one. Besides us spending, making sure we check on one another to do it in a group setting. If we had a gathering or something, okay, let's just take this time to be serious for a moment.
Yeah.
Open it up. So I think that's a great idea.
And I would say be okay, because we have these things we call critical conversations.
Right.
We have to start being okay.
Come on, educator.
Yeah.
We have to start being okay with critical or crucial.
Right.
I'm gonna laugh.
Critical conversation.
We have to start being okay with having those. If a family member comes to you and says, hey, I seen this or I noticed this, be okay saying, yeah, I'm going through this, or, I recently experienced this. I'm trying, y'all. I recently experienced this and I'm not okay. So being able to have those critical and crucial conversations. Tig, I'm gonna get you.
No, that's a great point. We don't want to take away from it. Be okay saying you're not okay. Somebody made that comment earlier, but we need to know why Lily is about to lose it over there at this. She's letting you know that this money we pay for this degree is working. You know.
He didn't even have to do that because you're making a good point, but he is so crazy. He's so crazy.
I don't know what's wrong with him.
But I think a lot of times people are closed-minded to talk about the mental health, their mental health, because they don't want to be judged.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I think that a lot of people don't want to really talk about it. And but one other thing I like to make, one point that I would like to make that I think is very important is that your mental health is just as important as your physical well-being, your physical health. And when you go to your doctor for your annual every year or whatever it is, you go there to make sure that everything is good. So we need to start treating our mental health just like it's as important as our mental health. And if you ever just keep going and going and knowing something is not right, that can turn into something else. It could be like something minor. It could be just depression at first, but it can turn into other things like a mental illness that is more aggressive. So it's very important that we make sure that we take care of our mental health. And also, speaking of the pandemic as well, like we did earlier for 2020, there was 40% in the US that of adults who suffered from mental illness. And then again, there was our babies, 6 through 17, that are suffering from mental illness. And a lot of that happened because of the pandemic and just the anxiety and all those other things that come along with all that. So we just need to make sure that mental health is our first priority.
All right, fantastic. So a couple of comments. Sister Eversley says, of course, open communication is key. Right. Keela Williams says, yes, ma'am. Lakia Patterson says, so true. All right. So any closing thoughts on the subject? Again, mental health mystique. We selected that particular topic because we thought that there were some myths and some untruths that are, circulating and things of that nature. So we hope we were able to break some of those stigmas and give some real practical ways on how to deal with it with your family and not have to be so heavy. It doesn't have to be so heavy to be effective. Any closing thoughts? Lily, we'll start with you.
I just said like I said in the beginning, we have to normalize the conversations. We have to open it up. I love Tig's idea of having that open dialogue when we get together as a family. I know we joke and we laugh a lot, but we never know what's behind those laughs. So it can be people dealing with real pain. So I think we have to, as a family, do better. And I know that I'm going to do better of just text them to say, hey, I'm thinking about you. Hey, if you need anything, let me know. And I say that all the time, but I really genuinely mean that. And I need to make sure that people around me really know that I'm here if they need anything. If you need to talk to somebody, I know that some days I just need to vent. So, and I have those, that have that support system. So I just want us to be okay with having this conversation. And this is not going to be a one and done. So we'll continue the conversation.
Awesome. Nikki, what you got to close it?
Yes, I agree with everything that everybody, even that came to the table with, even our guest. I agree with their comments and stuff. And like Alicia said, we do have to continue to have the conversation. Anytime it arises, we need to have that conversation. And another thing too is that don't forget that a lot of people too that are diagnosed do have, some of them have to take medication, and that needs to be a topic for us to discuss too as well, so that they know that it's okay to have to take your medication, to have to take a medication to stabilize, to be stabilized. And that's okay. But
yeah,
it's the same again, like I said earlier, with your physical health. But some people, because of the stigma, they don't want to take their medications or they don't want to talk about it. So we do have to definitely keep the dialogue going and make sure we reach out to our loved ones and friends and just make sure that they're okay.
All right, Mika.
Let's not just address this topic in May. because this is something that should be addressed year round. Of course, this is a good, it's a month, that we've all made aware of mental health or mental illness, but we want to make sure that we continue to address this, starting with our kids. This is not mental illness, and mental health is not just something for adults. Address this with our kids, because they go through stuff just like we do, from kids, teenagers, adolescents, all that. So let's normalize it in our community, in our households, and make it a safe place for our kids and our adults. And I've enjoyed Nikki's proper voice today.
Those critical conversations. We enjoyed your critical conversations.
I had to put on my professional voice because I'm the founder and CEO of Keegan's Place.
Right, and you can see.
And because this is Nicole.
Yes, this is Nicole.
And you can see it here at the bottom of the screen, the link for Keegan's Place on Facebook. So go there. Again, if you don't have anybody that needs assistance, you can always help monetarily so we can get people there. We'd like to thank all the viewers who attended. We appreciate you. We appreciate the comments as always.
Always.
I read as many of them as I can, but y'all are so active.
I love it.
It's hard for me to keep up. So I appreciate that. Keep making it hard for me to keep up. We need to get to a point to where it's going to be some competition. If your comment ain't good, it ain't getting up there. From now on, if you just put a smiley face, I ain't reading that. We appreciate you. We appreciate you for those first time viewers. Come back, tell a friend.
Yes,
we're gonna always, it's gonna hit something heavy, whether the topic is light or whether it's heavy. It's gonna be some meaningful dialogue, I assure you. So please, always come back and see us. Again, on behalf of my co-host and everybody here at the show, we sincerely appreciate the support, and we'll see you back here next week. We do not know what the topic is going to be yet, but we will be posting that on our social media channels when we know. And again, we appreciate you here at Queen 3 and King, BS3 Radio for Life.
Bye.